Curley is the referee. He's only 29. He's been graded for 3.5 years. He's one of the younger brigade, as you read about the game. He's been refereeing for 10 years. Transport contractor, married with four children. He came up through the Newtown area. So Phil Curley comes under the scrutiny of television as the man in the middle. An enviable task, I fully realise that. And a mistake to start the night for South Sydney. Michael Andrews wears the number 8. He offered that mistake. Corey Hastings and Craig Coleman, the halfbacks, duelling tonight. And here's the first scrum for young Weeks, the deputy for Mario Fennick. His first grade debut, and East get a penalty. It's against South for collapsing. That engine room for South, they'd realise that young Weeks would be under a lot of pressure, and they'd be doing their damnedest to give him as much help as possible, but it backfired. Smoke wafting across the cricket ground from the fireworks as East go onto the attack, and they're running in towards that Bradman stand goal line. Dummy half is Simpkins. Shows the dummy. And when they put on a fancy play, and it goes to McGann. All but came off. Bootlace tackle by Roberts ended it. Out the back it comes for Simpkins, and away now for Worth. It's a try. No, he's held up in goal. 5-metre scrum. Oh, what an ominous start for South. There he is going in. It's hard to imagine he didn't ground the ball. See it again. I think Phil Gould's the man that plays at the ball. This is a good play by Gould. In fact, it was young Craig Coleman, the number 7, who got an arm underneath it. Penalty goes to Souths from the ensuing scrum. Weeks is the dummy half. Here's Gould. He cuts out Coleman, picks up. It's Andrews coming on a short run and met by the East's reception committee. Now Gould gets a kick in. He's put it back into the middle of the ground. A good-looking kick from Gould. Worth goes out with it now in the headgear. He's lost it too in the tackle. Bronco de Jura has it for South. Roberts is the dummy half. They've gone to the blind side. They've got the numbers. Davidson has tackled. 7 metres out from the Eastern Suburbs line. Panic stations for Eastern Suburbs. All hands on deck. Roberts has tackled. Gould. Coleman. Long pass knocked down by Simpkins. And it's going to be a scrum about 15 out from the East line with South to feed.
It was just as well that Simpkins got a hand at this one. The ball was thrown over the top by Coleman. South had the numbers. Desperation move by the Eastern Suburbs number 12, and it paid off for him.
Half-back lock forward play from the scrum by South. And away it goes now, out to Bronco de Jura, on to Baker. Baker gives it to Cruikshank. He puts it down, and beautifully picked up by Worth. A simple skill in rugby league to be able to pick the ball up on the run. Sometimes prove a very valuable one. And they've lost it again, East. And it's Chisholm getting it away. Roberts knocks on. It should be East ball. It is. Testman to play it. Ooh, East are going to have to control the football. They're going to have to pay greater respect to the value of the football if they're going to win this match. 13 is Mackay. He's taking it out. Simpkins. Hastings. Cuts out one. Gets it to McGann. McGann looks for support. Finds Hall. Good work by the 5/8. 11 metres short of the halfway. Dean Bell is the dummy half. Away to Hugh McGann, and on it goes. Over the shoulder of Testman backwards. It'll be scooped up there by number 9, which is Trevor Patterson. And that was struck by Bacon. Knocked on by East in a scrum. Here's the lowers. 26-14 East, the 23s, and 34-4. East 1 reserves. DeJura, Baker, Cruikshank. Held by Hall, the 5/8. He's done some clever things already, this 5/8 for Eastern Suburbs. Long ball now out to Moon, the centre. Chalice, number 2 for Easts. Assisting Gilmeister. Harrington to play it. They're only 10 metres from the line. Souths. Gould shows it, throws the dummy, tries to go himself. 9 metres from the line. Coleman puts the little kick up. Les Biles all but had it. Forced in goal by Easts. Line dropout, so Easts have had to withstand some enormous pressure. 2 scrums have been packed 15 metres from their line, and they had the feet against them, the head against them. Mackay. Hastings backing up, turns it back into the middle. They were too far away from him, and now it's gone over to Gilmeister. Mackay. McGowan. Bell came in. Hall has got the ball. Away it goes through to Prom and on to Chalice. Chalice makes a big run down the left flank.
It has been noticeable, but each time Eastern Suburbs do elect to spread the ball, they are finding some holes in the South's defence.
Worth comes up with it. He's a dazzling runner. It goes now to Tessman. Tessman's tackled on 5. 25 metres out. The ball lost. It'll be a penalty to the Tricolours, the Roosters. A penalty right in front of the sticks. He strikes it or he stabbed it. It was a nervous stab of the ball, but he got the flags in the air and he's got the points. That's all that counts. 2-0 in favour of Eastern Suburbs. Joe Hastings doesn't mind putting it in the second row.
Plenty of practice over the years.
Well, of course. And now he's knocked on. He got an awful pass from McGowan. Goodness gracious. That's the sort of pass you'd expect to get from your enemies.
Well, the only pleasing thing from Arthur Beetson's point of view is that East have got to be able to play better. You know, I don't think they could play any worse in the way they've started, and it's still, 2-2.
Here's trouble, Cruikshank. Kenny, young lady. Cut! And he's tackled about 3 metres out from the Eastern Suburbs line. Trouble for Eastern Suburbs. Gould away to Coleman. Coleman holds it back. McGowan is tackled. McGowan is the tackler. The ball played by Coleman. Gould gets it on to Davidson. And crunching tackling there by Mackay and also Hastings. Weeks is the ruck half. Gould with the ball. Holds it back for 2 runners. And then it's Chisholm who's tackled. Still 8 metres out from the line. Again, Eastern Suburbs under pressure. Away now to Coleman, on to DeJura, away to Baker. Cut out ball, wide to Moon. And good defence there from the winger, Dean Bell. He read the game perfectly. Members of the Australian team in readiness for Saturday, watching tonight's match here. Hastings.
Good kick that into a little space.
And Bell's got the bounce too, Bill. You're quite right. And here goes the New Zealand international. Pursued by DeJura. He's got him by the collar. Got the pass inside to Brian Johnson. And the former St. George fullback scores the try for Eastern Suburbs. Well, you could have been forgiven for thinking that when East stopped making mistakes and stopped putting pressure on themselves, they'd already shown enough to suggest that they would score when they held the ball for a long enough period of time. And that's what happened. Hastings put this kick, as described by Bill Anderson, into a beautiful space. And Dean Bell got away from one. DeJura gets a hand around his collar. Brian Johnson positioned himself well, took the infield pass, and Brian Johnson scores right behind the uprights.
South Sydney were playing no cover defence here. Coleman was in the line, and when that happens, what you've got to do is bring your full-back flatter. But Cruikshank had stayed back deep. He gave Hastings plenty of space to work in. He put the kick over the top. Dean Bell came through, picked it up on the fly. He couldn't go all the way himself. He looked inside, and Brian Johnson, who also has got plenty of pace, was able to back up and put the ball between the uprights.
Brian Johnson, Gee, what a talented footballer he's been. In fact, I remember seeing Brian play his first match on our television for Illawarra in I think it was an Amco Cup match many years ago at Lang Park. Here's the scoreline, 8-2 in favour of the Roosters. I was reading yesterday about Brian Clay's health problem, and Brian, from everybody in Rugby League, we wish you all the best. Candidate, I believe, for a heart transplant, one of the great number sixes. Went through that era with St George. And those that played with him and mixed with him all say the same. Great, both on and off the field. Good luck to your Papa Clay. This is Gould. Oh, away from some fragile tackling. Davidson, he heard the call, and it happened to be Wayne Chalice, who's gone lickety split in the opposite direction. Well, there's errors coming from both teams. McGann. Oh, solid hit on McGann from Davidson. As if he was sent out there as a courier for the Australians for Saturday. Certainly got a shot on McGann. Hastings. Little fellow gets his kick in. Oh, beautiful kick. Beautiful kick from Kevin Hastings. Tooheys Monday Night Football. Good kick by Coleman. Bell came in off his wing. He read it nicely. He's done some good things, Dean Bell, tonight. One of his tackles earlier, I'm sure, saved a try. Hastings.
And despite East's fairly lowly standing on the competition, with players like Bell, you can never lose sight of the fact that they have got some very class footballers in their outfit.
Gilmeister had a lengthy stretch on the judiciary list, didn't he, Gilmeister, this year? Hall puts it down. He's ruled knocked backwards, which was right. And Brendan Hall to play. Last tackle coming up for the Tricolours. Red, white and blue Tricolours. And Hastings, well, that didn't find touch. I'm sure David Cruikshank was prepared to think it was going into touch. And all of a sudden, the ball bounced up, lollied up, and it went back into the field of play. And Cruikshank says, heavens above. So back he comes.
And that's as good as advertisement as you'll ever see for why you should always give a good chase to the football.
Here's a problem for South. I think that's Craig Coleman in the back getting some attention. As Gould puts a raking kick in, it's too far in field. Gary Worth goes back with it, tackled by Andrews. And the touch judge has gone in. I wonder, is this to do with the incident involving Coleman? McGann has gone up as the East captain. Gary Prom as the East centre. He's the man facing the judges at the moment. Do you see it, Graham, what happened to Coleman at all?
Coleman did cop a late tackle. I wanted to raise this point again. He's going right back to the mark. Coleman, South Sydney pulled the run-around move. Coleman copped one late. And again, you mentioned the word consistency. I think that sin bin's long forgotten.
Gould. Big dummy by Gould. And that was forward. He read it well, Cooley. He was again right in line with the play. Gould, he's working overtime, the big second rower. So the last seconds of this match will be occupied by the scrum. Hastings puts it in and it's out the same tunnel. Cooley acknowledges the sighting. They'll go probably, no, Hastings is going to take the tackle. I thought they might have gone for the kick down the ground. But there it is, the end of 40 minutes. And Eastern Suburbs leading by 8 points to 2. History-making day in New South Wales football. The board of directors deciding to reduce from 13 back to 12. And the question now is, who's going? That decision will be handed down, I believe, in about a month. Some have thought that maybe these two clubs will be asked to unite. Here's McGann. Worth gets his kick in. It's gone down around behind Les Biles, who's going to bring it out from 15 metres. And gets outside the quarter before being tackled by Hall. Well, Bill Anderson, you've been there and done it, so you might as well tell us what you would have said to, firstly, Eastern Suburbs at the break.
Well, I don't think East have got a lot of problems in the structure of their attack. I think what they're trying to do with the ball's good, but they've just got to control the ball a little bit better. South Sydney, conversely, they've tried to introduce some variety also into their attack, and they've looked okay with the ball, but it's in defence that they've had huge problems. They've had the problems in near the ruck. They've had problems out wide. They're just going to have a greater commitment to defence, or they're going to see certainly that spot in the top three slip away from them, and things could even get tough for the first five.
Ball played by Gilmeister. Tessman takes a short run and puts Patterson into a hole. Patterson's to the halfway. Tessman backs him up. Good football by the Queenslander.
That was an ominous start for South. We were just talking about them needing a greater commitment in defence, and one of their players went in and just fell off what was an easy tackle.
Brendan Hall now to play it. Mackay away from dummy half. Tessman again prominent. And that's 5 gone for East as the ball is raked back, and Coleman, De Jura, McCarthy. Tackler was Hall around the legs, Magano over the top. Davidson inside for Roberts. Gould, Davidson. Smart little piece of play by Hastings there. It probably went unnoticed, but what he's doing is, when there's 2 men in on the tackle, he's then getting himself around between the big men and the runners.
It's play on.
This is play on. Brian Johnson.
Play on.
Brian Johnson. Oh, he's stopped now. He's still going to score, Johnson. He's still going to score, but he almost gave himself up. He looked back as if to say, well, what's the ruling? You don't worry about that. You just play to the whistle. The ball was passed, and I think you'll find it's come off the rump, or it's come off the back of an East player. There it is. Whether Johnson was in an onside position, that remains uncertain, but the fact is that it didn't come off the man's hands or arms, and the referee has seen that as not being a knock-on by the East player. See it again from this angle.
Well, it definitely wasn't a knock-on, but the point in contention as to whether Johnson was in an offside position or not, whether he was in front of Hall, who hadn't played at the ball, but the ball had hit him. Johnson picked it up. He hesitated. He wondered what the referee was going to do. Finally elected to run and came up with the 4 points. It's been awarded, and that's all that counts.
Here's Worth taking the attempted conversion of the Johnson try. He gets the 2 points, so Eastern Suburbs are now leading by 14 points to 2. Hastings. Guard. Simpkins, he can't control the ball. Picked up by Patterson. And it'll be a scrum about 35 metres out from the South line. Well, it was well rehearsed, the East play, but that final execution breakdown. Here's Harrington going down the ground and over the halfway for the Rabbitohs, still going up to the 32-metre line. Tackler was Chalice, De Jura, Coleman, Weeks, still on the 32. Gould. Tackling there by Gilmeister and Hall. Long ball by Coleman, finds Baker. Again, Dean Bell left his wing, reading what was going on and snuffing out the likelihood of a South try. Coleman, Davidson, and Bell goes high. Underneath was Hall. 5 tackles gone for South as it goes to Baker. He gets the bomb in. It's very deep. I think it's not too deep, but it's been taken in goal by Gary Worth, and a penalty has been given to Eastern Suburbs. He's ruled that Darren McCarthy was in front of the kicker, and Worth takes the ball. McCarthy makes the tackle. Of course, he was in front of the kicker, and that brings the penalty to Eastern Suburbs. Scrum right in front of the uprights. Fed by Coleman. It's come across to Dejura. Dejura, he's over the line. I think he'll be pinched. Yes, he's gone for a double movement. Graham, what happened there earlier? I just was looking down at a statistic when the penalty had been given to East.
Evan Hastings rushed up to take a quick tap. South Sydney were very slow to form up. Hastings tried to rush the ball out wide to the left to use the wingers, but what he did find, in fact, was 2 of his own Eastern Suburbs players coming back onside. They were in front of him when he took the tap kick. Thus, he was ordered to take a scrum.
All right, fine. That cleans that up. And then you saw on replay the Dejura try. He hit and bounced over the line, but the referee has seen it as a double movement. And that, of course, will be seen as more bad luck for South on top of the Brian Johnson try. Patterson right on the 22 line. Hastings switching it from the open to the blind. He puts the kick in. It's going out. No, yes it is. Finding the line, or finding touch about 30 metres out from the South line. Well, he didn't leave very much for error here, Kevin. He's landed it about a foot inside the touch line. McGann. Long ball coming off the fingertips of the East player. Souths have got it. Harrington to play it. Just inside the quarter. Away now to Roberts. Second tackle gone for South as Roberts appeals to the referee. It's gone to Coleman. Baker. Gould. Coleman. Baker. That's Darren McCarthy.
I think if you're looking at one area tonight where East have been superior to South and consequently going to win the match, is that they have tackled better over the top. They've stopped the progress of the ball better than Souths have. Souths have gone in low and they're not finished off the ball. East have gone in and the second man over the top has finished the movement.
Gould gets a kick in. It's coming down to Gary Worth in the field of play.
I'll tell you what, if you're talking about best players for Eastern Suburbs tonight, he wouldn't be far out of contention.
Well, Gary Worth, yeah, he's a prime contender, and this bloke's not far off it either. Dean Bell, he's done some things out there that I believe, at least on 2 occasions, has snuffed out what could have been a try. Now it's John Tobin.
See, there's that man not over the top again.
Tobin, chased by Dejura. He's over the halfway line. In reading the form guide, you had to think that Bronco Dejura would run him down. Hastings. Prom.
John Tobin's been out for a long while with injury. He was probably hoping that Bronco would catch him.
Hastings. Well, he's done it again.
A lot of simple mistakes, haven't they, in that play the ball area? Mistakes you don't expect first-grade footballers to make. I think the amazing thing about Eastern Suburbs, and we can assume they are going to win this match, is they've played fairly ordinary. They're a side that, if they were in contention for the first 5, could cause a lot of problems.
Gilmeister. Tessman. Bell is off. Bennett. Now Hastings has come off for Eastern Suburbs. Who's gone on in his place?
David Truella is on in 20, and also on the sideline is Terry Madison in 34. He will go on for Huey McGann, and Lindsay Johnson for South Sydney out there.
Gary Worth makes a break, kicks over the head of Bronco Dejura. Here comes a try. Yes, I'd say he'll give it. A try to Gary Worth. The fullback for Eastern Suburbs, capping a splendid performance for him with just under 5 minutes of the match remaining. Gary Worth on the Tooheys replay. The chip over the top of Bronco de Jura's head. And then he's able to take the ball across the line. Just that sufficient downward pressure to make it a try.
It was a good set play by Eastern Suburbs. They opened South Sydney up the middle. Worth must have been in two minds whether to pass or to kick ahead. He kicked ahead. There was no doubt in my mind that it wasn't a try, that he forced it with downward pressure in goal.
Is this Truella taking the attempt at conversion? Madison it is. He gets the extra 2 points, and so it's 20 points to 2 in favour of the Roosters. Over it goes to Baker, on to Davidson, away to Gould, and now it's Mike Andrews. Gets it away to Bronco de Jura. He's over the halfway, hasn't got the pace to get away from them. He's tackled midway between 22 and halfway. Eastern Suburbs end of the ground. Played back to Baker. Off it goes to Coleman. Throws the long ball. Finds Harrington. Tackled by Chalice and Mackay. And there's the siren. The end of the section as the ball goes to Gould. He flick passes back to Coleman. It's gone on to Weeks. He throws the pass out the back. And Robert Simpkins dives on it for Eastern Suburbs. And that's the end of the section for Souths tonight, with East's resounding victory by 20 points to 2. It comes up this way with Brian Johnson 2 tries, Gary Worth 1, Worth 3 goals, and Madison a goal. And for Souths, the lone goal kicked by Neil Baker. 20 points to 2 in favour of Eastern Suburbs.